The dating market right now is tougher than ever before. And I want to bring to your attention something that is extremely powerful that will help you manifest your soulmate into your life. We are currently experiencing a lot of shifts in the masculine and feminine energies. And for a lot of people, they don't realize what is actually going on. All right, so I just want to share with you the rise of apps like Bumble and Tinder and all of these different kind of websites where you can sort of find your soulmate or find, a date or whatever it is, and why you can't land, a romantic long-term relationship and why relationships don't last in this day and age. All right. So the reason why I want to share this with you is because you need to be aware of the dark so that you can step into the light. All right. When you don't know what you're up against, you can really struggle. A dating channel that I follow quite heavily, the guy who runs the channel describes dating as a battlefield. He literally describes it as a battlefield, and that's how tough it's got in this day and age. All right. So on the side of the woman, with social media and stuff like this, right, we'll see a lot of women who are, showing their bodies and, working out and all enough. There's all these beautiful women on, Instagram, for example. And so the rise of women getting attention from men has exploded in the last, 10, 20 years. And that's what we have to realize is that, women now have what we call more options. Now, back in the day, for women, they would have to actually leave the house, to actually be approached, and probably there was hardly ever approached, when they went out. I don't know how it was exactly a long time ago, but it was a different, scenario. Nowadays you can just, get a DM or just go and create a Tinder account and you can get all the attention you want. And what I've personally found on the side of women, you really need to know what the ideal man for you wants, okay? Because women, what I found is they don't necessarily know what men want. Like, they don't actually know. Like, if you ask a woman, what does a man want out of a relationship? They wouldn't be able to tell you, okay? And so this is what you need to educate yourself on a little bit more, that what does a guy actually want out of a relationship? And it's not superficial. Like, some people just think it's like superficial things like sex, food, and that's it, right? And to not make any not make him stress. Stress is actually one of the components. But the type of guy that I'm talking about is probably your soulmate, and you're probably thinking of this dream guy, right? This dream guy is out there, and I believe myself to be a good man. In a relationship, in the things that I want out of a relationship, the future that I'm creating, the business that I'm building, the success, like all of these kinds of things, and all of my inner resources that I've developed over my years. I feel like I'm a higher value man than the typical everyday guy. Not that they're any less than me, I'm just different. And so, what does a guy like me want, out of a relationship? And that's the key thing that you want to ask yourself. Okay, so there's a lot of women who follow my channel. Okay, so I just want to talk to the women first, and then after I'm going to talk to the men. All right, so for someone like myself, or someone who has, a quality man, basically they want a feminine woman. That's the number one thing men want. Because what's happened is feminism, the rise of feminism has caused women to be more masculine, okay? And then also we got single mums as well. And them taking care of their kids, has caused for them to become more masculine. They need to make decisions. They need to get stuff done. They need to be, more in their masculine to make sure that they're a father for their kids. So they're taking on two roles here. And this is totally understandable. The rise of feminism has caused, it's brought, I don't believe feminism should be within a romantic relationship, okay? I believe that it works when in the professional world, and getting jobs and equal pay and all these kind of stuff, equal opportunities, etc., etc. That's granted 100%. Within a relationship dynamic, can it work? Maybe. Is it attractive to the ideal mate? Highly unlikely, okay? A guy wants someone who is able to be sweet and in her feminine and is approachable and is appealing, you know, and is magnetic and is happy and is smiling, you know? And so some women, you know, they're naturally in their feminine. Some women are naturally in their masculine. And this is a side of you that you may have to work on in becoming more feminine, becoming more soft, causing for less stress within a relationship dynamic. Men don't want stress, okay? So as soon as you add stress to their lives, you're actually lowering your own value. Also, it is a problem, and I gotta say this, it is a problem if you have kids, okay? It's more of a problem if you have kids within, when you're looking to find a mate, okay? Why is it harder? From a male perspective, the male's gonna have to come in and not only take care of you, but he's thinking, I need to take care of these kids. If he loves you or he cares about you or he's thinking about the future and stuff like this, you know, he's thinking about, you know, how much money he needs to make to take care of all of you. You know, he's thinking of all these things. And so what will happen is, let's say, for example, you're on Tinder and you're talking and all this stuff, and then you mention that you have kids. Men will go and put you in a category, okay? And maybe they'll just say like, no, it's just sex, you know, and that's just the way it is, okay? And so when it comes to things like that, the way out of this, the way to still attract your soulmate is to know what men want, okay? You need to know what men want in and out. What does the ideal mate want? Okay, and like I said, the first thing here is femininity, being in your feminine. Also, you're more likely to be in your masculine if you've worked a career and, you know, or you've been, you know, you're studying, you got your PhD, or you got your, I don't know, whatever qualifications it's called, your A levels, right? You got your degrees and all this stuff. Men don't care about that. Men will get with a woman that's working at McDonald's or is, you know, a CEO. You know, men don't care about your qualifications. They don't care about how much money you make. They don't care about that stuff. Whereas women care more about that stuff than men. You see, they care about your career, your education, how much money you're making, all this stuff. Now, for you being a more spiritual person, you might not care about it as much, but you do care about it because, you know, women are wanting to be protected, right? Women are wanting to be, you know, provided for, okay? Unless you've been trained to be feminine, right? If you've been trained to be feminine, it's a little bit different in your mindset, but at the core of who you are, you don't necessarily need it, but you would want it. So this is what I've learned when it comes to you know, maybe 5-10 years being in a career, being in your masculine, it's very hard to attract an alpha male or a male that, you know, you want to attract into your life and the soulmate that you're looking for when you are more in your masculine energy. Another thing that I think stands out is that women seem to have it all figured out. You know, like they don't need a man, you know, and it's just, that's a very like unattractive trait. You know, I can do this all by myself. I don't need a man kind of attitude, you know, and that's another thing. Attitude like has a huge effect on attracting someone into your life. When it comes to, you know, finding your soulmate or finding the one or whatever it is, understand that he's probably going to want you to allow him to come in, like I was saying before, and be of value to you, okay? If you're giving off the energy that you don't bring any value to the table, it's very, very unattractive. And I think this stems from certain wounds from previous relationships. This could be wounds from, you know, breakups, divorces that you've been through, and then you figured out how to do things for yourself. And that's totally understandable. And, you know, you've created a space where you're able to do things for yourself. And it's okay to be independent. But there's a thing called interdependence, and, you know, creating strong connections between two people, and, you know, allowing the masculine and feminine to work together and cooperating is like key, you know, because, you know, if you got just one dynamic, in a relationship and you're taking charge and you're taking control, you know, when they say like, you know, who wears the pants in a relationship, it's like, man, like it just shouldn't be like that. And so we want to find the balance between the yin and the yang. We want to find the balance between the masculine and the feminine and allow them to work together. Masculine and feminine create new life. And, you know, when, you know, one is overpowering the other or the other doesn't need the other, it's just like, well, what is my role in this whole creation of a relationship? Which leads to my next point, is healing your past, healing things that you've been through, going to therapy or reprogramming your subconscious mind, doing the healing on previous relationships so that you open up, you know, you change into a different person and you create space for him to come in to fruition. You know, when you're holding on to baggage of the past, it can only manifest more of that and the wrong people. If you have toxic traits or you got certain traumas that you're holding on to, certain pains that you're holding on to, you'll see that manifest over and over and over again in the relationships that you're bringing in, right? The relationship you're bringing in is they're broken people. They're people that, you know, have been through some stuff themselves, and, you know, you're just like back and forth and you're arguing all the time or whatever it is. It's just not a vibrational match. However, when you heal yourself and you've raised your vibration to a certain level, now you're in match with the other person who's, you know, pretty much healing themselves as well. And you can come together and co-create or collaborate or be cooperative, right? You can cooperate and create something really powerful. So when we move on to the male side, there's certain communities that have developed that you might not be aware of or know about. And this is something important that you should know about, especially if you're a woman watching this. All right. So in the male community, there's a movement called MGTOW. Okay. And I just want to be clear before we get started with this. There's a toxic side to MGTOW and a positive side to MGTOW. And then there's also a community called the red pill community. Okay, so red pill, blue pill community. Okay, this is to do with the matrix and being awake and being aware of women's behaviors and things like this. Okay, so the MGTOW, MGTOW, or the red pill community is a group of men who are going their own way. Okay, MGTOW stands for men going their own way. Okay, and what men have realized is that, you know, a majority of divorces are started by women. Not that the males haven't contributed to these divorces or whatever it is, but a majority of women initiate divorce, and you know, they're able to get a certain amount of money, you know, what's it called, alimony or whatever it is, and all this stuff. And, you know, they've been in marriage after marriage, and they're losing like loads of money and all of this stuff. And so they're finding that the legal system doesn't support them in terms of marriage and how women have the advantage on that. And it's also about, you know, men following their purpose, following their dream life, creating the finances that they want, being in a good position. And again, like I said, there's a toxic side to it, but I think from feminism, it's manifested the MGTOW community, and it's created this dynamic between men and women. Now, men don't value women as much as before, and they're looking for these 5% women, where these women are very, very rare to find. And I've shared with you some of the things that they want at the beginning of this video, okay? And so these women are very, very rare to find. And so they just stay focused on their career, building their finances, building their businesses and things like this. And so many, many men are a part of this community, okay? And again, you can go look it up. And I would consider myself a red pill man, okay? A red pill man who is aware of these, like 95% of the women are not fit, okay, for a long-term romantic relationship, okay? Men now understand that, okay? And so this is why the divorce rate is like 1 in 2 or whatever it is, and why relationships don't last. You know, there's even people who will stay in relationships for many, many, many years, you know, and they're not happy within it because, you know, marriage says that, you know, you should stay together forever and all of this stuff. And then, you know, you worry about the kids and it's been so long, there's no point in quitting now, these kinds of mindsets. But, you know, overall, It's just one of those things that we have to become aware of. And so men have the mindset that now of looking for an extremely high quality woman, okay? And a woman who's consistent at being high quality. And so on the man side, I think it's important for men to continually learn to grow, being able to listen, okay, very deeply to a woman and communicating. One of the things that pops up a lot when I'm speaking to my female clients and they're in a relationship or they're looking for a relationship, men don't communicate enough and they go quiet and they don't share their feelings. Women are wanting emotional intelligence. Women are wanting men to speak what's on their mind, but communicate in an effective way, and being able to share their needs, being able to share your needs. And again, women, like when a guy is communicating something with you and you don't listen or you move into your masculine, now he's not going to want to share anything with you anymore. All right. It's one of those things like, it's like a slap on the wrist for communicating, and so he's not going to want to open up. Okay. And so you can shut down a man by, asking him, okay, what is it that you need? And then he communicates it with you and then you get upset about it. You become defensive or you take it personally, and so it's key to go into your feminine when this happens. Okay. Hear him, understand him, and communicate back with him or more about his needs, and that's what's going to help him open up a little bit more. Also, guys, this is so important for you to be following your purpose, be following something that, following some sort of career path, something that you want. You need to be in your masculine. You need to be, making decisions and becoming sort of like a protector within the relationship. If you're not holding that frame, you start to become a beta male. You start to become unattractive. Now, I think it's important for a man to be compassionate, to compliment, to be loving and caring, and stepping into his feminine. But you don't want to stay there. You don't want to, consistently be there, because that's just going to hinder your progress in a relationship. A woman wants both a masculine energy and a feminine energy. Okay. Not just one. So if you're just completely masculine, sometimes over time women can find that unattractive, right? Because you're not honoring the other side of yourself, but you're not giving that side of yourself to her, and so she will seek that externally somewhere else, and that's why we find that people cheat sometimes. Okay, and so she might not be happy, or she might be complaining, or whatever it is, and she's just wanting that emotional side. All right. And so if you're more beta male and you're in your feminine all the time, she's wanting that assertiveness. She's wanting that decision making, to make plans and move things forward. And if you don't do that, she's going to now come in and do that for you, right? And treat you like a child, right? And so what often happens is women become mothers to their boyfriends and they become mothering, and then it's almost like he feels even more like a kid or like a beta male, and then he's not able to step up to the plate because there's no room. And so guys, you need to be able to be in your alpha. You need to be able to sort of toughen up a little bit and make decisions. When you're at a restaurant and you're ordering a meal, you need to know what you want. Like, you want this, or you want to sit here, or you want to, you tell her, hey, I want to go out, let's go out. Like, you got to make stuff happen. You want to know what you want out of life. If you're not having any direction, you're going to suffer a lot. Okay. Feminine women want to be led. Okay. And I understand certain masculine women, if you're in your alpha and you've followed your career for so long, I just go into that and feel into that you probably want that as well. You want to be led in some way, shape or form. Not that you're going to be taken control of, because I know this can, some of the words that I'm using might be taken out of proportion, but men are supposed to be more leaders, right? And that's not that women are behind or they're less or anything like that. Okay. It's just the dynamic of a masculine energy. Masculine is leadership, decision making. It's a little bit of control, like getting stuff done, being productive or whatever. The feminine energy is creative. And as we would look at someone like an artist or something like this, and then more of the creative energy, spontaneity, the receiving, loving, caring, right? It's a different dynamic. There's a lot of power in this, and there's a lot of power in this. It's not less than, just because the word leadership, it seems like it's something that a woman should have, not necessarily, it sounds like a good thing to have for a woman to have, but essentially, it's out of alignment with the femininity of who a woman is. Does that make sense? And so women have forgotten the power of their femininity and the power that they have in this. And that, if you live in that, you create a very powerful dynamic. You create space for that masculine male to come in, to attract that soulmate, to attract your dream life partner, and for both of you to complement each other. So you've let go of the masculine, right? And you're stepping into your feminine. So you've created space for the masculine energy to come in. And the same for the masculine, right? You step out of your feminine, you be in your masculine, you're creating space for the feminine to come in. And then you work together synergistically. When it's, tit for tat, you're trying to, compete against each other. It's just like, it's not going to work long term. And that's what we see happening nowadays. That's why we have all these divorces. And so, like I said, the rise of feminism has hurt relationships. I think it's cool for the workplace and professional life, but inside a relationship dynamic, I think it's hindered us. And I feel like in the eyes of a woman, men have become less. And we see it nowadays. We'll have like mothers are celebrated. Mothers are celebrated, but not as much as fathers, right? And we can say, oh, there's not that much good fathers out there, and fathers leave and blah, 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 whatever, right? But the reality is, Father's Day is not as big as Mother's Day, And so and again, women, you hold life for you create a baby within you for nine months. You have your cycle every month. You got all these hormones and things going on. And obviously that's to be celebrated. But then we lose the value of a male in life and the things that a male has created in this lifetime and what we do for you. If you look around you right now, the home that you're living in, the phone that you're holding or whatever it is, most of it, is invented by a male, right? Most of what you see, the buildings that you see, all that stuff, it's all males that build that and construct that for you, And so, we for women, you need to again see the value in a man and what a man brings to the table and allow him to be in his power. And it's not that a woman can't build a house or whatever it is; they can do these things, but it's like, we're taking that job away from you so you can focus on what you need to focus on, and vice versa. Does that make sense? And so we all need to create room to be in our natural states and embody, our energies and be in our power. So if you're watching this video right now and you really want to attract your soulmate, you want to find out what's blocking you, you want to open up your heart, you want to heal yourself, you want to grow and expand, then I suggest getting our free energy reading where I'm going to be basically doing an energy reading and finding out what's blocking you from manifesting your soulmate, your dream life partner, your twin flame. You can click on the link in the description. Also, you can get a manifestation diagnosis session. The telephone number and the WhatsApp link is below in the description and in the pinned comments. And check out this video right here on one of the most powerful ways to manifest. And remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace.